What's up, people? In this video, who asked me to do this? Phileas Canis, self-help channel. What are your thoughts on setting goals? What kind of goals do you set for yourself? And are they thought out and perfectly detailed? So I guess I'll answer this as we watch, but just the short version, like setting goals, good. What kind of goals do I set for myself? We'll go over that. And are they thought out and perfectly detailed? They are thought out and not necessarily perfectly detailed. This is the video. Here we go. If you have any other recommendations for videos, YouTubers, let me know. Leave me a comment.
You want to know how to get goals if you don't have goals? Well, the answer is very simple. You can click out after this 10-second little answer, which is, yeah.
Probably turn that up a little bit.
I don't understand this question. This is one of the most pertinent questions that you get constantly in the world of self-help. All these people go, I understand goals are important, but I don't have any goals. Oh my god, I'm calling the eternal snake eating itself. And you are. That's not a good situation to be in. Particularly because, as Brian Tracy said it best, remember this quote. In fact, you should even just write this down to remind yourself of just how important goals are. Here's something. This is it. If you do not have goals, you are destined to work for people who do. If you do not have goals, you are destined to work for people who do. This is backed up by Harvard studies. It was in the 50s or the 60s. It was a long time ago. All these experiments back then, God, scientists could get away with anything, couldn't they? We could put a bunch of chimps into a giant wrestling cage and put little masks on them and make them fight with knives. What was that for? I just want to see who wins. But anyway, hey, they were studying Harvard graduates. They discovered that 3% of the class had goals. The other 97% did not. What happened after 20 years? Those 3% were earning far more than the other 97%. Exactly. Think from memory. They were earning more than the 97% combined. That 3%. On top of that, they reported being much more happy, much more spiritually fulfilled. Having better kids, I suppose, because they probably have goals on what they wanted their kids to be like. Isn't that great about children that you can just program them? You're just a little miniature Rupert Murdoch going, this is what I believe. But that is something that you need to consider, is that every year that slips by without you having goals is a year that is completely wasted. And your brain will start shifting towards people who have a more certain reality than you, because that is what I think is most crucial about goals, and it is never, ever talked about, which is that. And this is a psychedelic concept, man. You ready to strap your children? You ready for this dimension, dude? But I think that when people always say that you create your own reality, and they never go, that's a secret, and it is a secret, fuck off, it's awesome.
A little cringe with the voices, but whatever. Anyway, so all right, so let's just talk about me. I'm more interesting. Okay, all right, fine. So what he said, what did he say? Like, if you don't have goals, you'll be destined to work for people who do. Okay, that's a nice like soundbite, I guess. I'm not saying it's not true. I think there is a lot of truth to that. But more importantly, I think, is that if you don't have goals, you're not I don't say you're not going to make any progress. If you don't have goals, any progress that you make will kind of just be by accident. And if you do have goals, you just work backwards and decide, like, figure out how you're going to get there, right? Like, if you have a goal, I don't know, whatever, you want to lose 100 pounds. Okay. You have a goal to lose 100 pounds, and then you like do whatever you have to do to lose 100 pounds, for example, right? Like, and ideally you would, like, pick the right strategies for doing that. Or you want to, like, I don't know, whatever your goal is. What goals people have these days? But what I was thinking actually when I was watching this, I was like, this is that's why I like anime, right? Is because the characters always have goals. They always have goals. They always decide, like, there's always something that they're like, we have to do this. Like, it's super important that we do like this one thing. And then you see the struggle and the journey and them like thinking creatively to actually get there. And that's really how it works, right? Is you pick whatever the goal is. I guess the goal does need to be specific. Like, what's the boxing anime? Hajime no Ippo, I think, where it's like this guy, he's like a little like skinny pipsqueak, and he starts taking boxing. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody here, but he like decides he wants to be the best boxer in the world, or he like wants to like compete and win, or he wants to be like an amazing boxer, whatever it is. So he trains like super hard, and you see, you know, his struggle to actually go into it. And you pick any anime, like they all have like crazy goals like that. And that's kind of missing from the real life, like the real world. Like nobody has goals. Nobody thinks to, we have like fantasies, like, oh, I want to make $1 million, or I want to do like make $1 billion, or get famous, or whatever it is. But people don't have like specific goals, I guess. But if you set a specific goal, then you're like, if you don't set a goal, like I said, any progress you make will kind of be on accident. And if you don't set a goal, you're not going to reach a goal. You know what I mean? You have to set a goal to reach it in the first place. In terms of it being specific, like, you do kind of want to language it as specific as possible. Like, for example, let's say you want to lose weight, or let's just take that, like your goal, I want to lose weight. Okay, well, losing a pound or a gram is still losing weight. So you achieve your goal, and then your brain like switches off, like, okay, I lost weight. Now that goal's done. right? But if you're more specific and you say like, I want a 6-pack, that's much more specific. You're going to take a lot more complex actions over an extended period of time to reach that goal, as opposed to just losing weight or whatever it is. Yeah, all right, we'll talk more later.
They are always saying that is not, the detractors, if you will, are always saying that that's not how life works. And I tend to argue the exact opposite, which is that whatever is inside your head is how you interpret reality. It's the same reason as when anxious people go to a party and they go, and because they're thinking that, they actually take on the body posture of a loser, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Have you ever heard of placebos? All of the self-help tropes in one video. What's the point of this channel? This is the video to watch. But when it says that you create your own reality, essentially what it's saying is that your brain focuses on what it thinks it is important to it. And you can decide that if you set goals. Otherwise, you are just going to be... It was some great revelation I can't remember it. God, I am as bad as Sandra Saliano. Just like, I don't care what's on the news today. The point is, does my hair look bouncy? Look, but they are saying that when you're in these situations where your brain has the opportunity to look at what is happening around the world, if you have set goals, your brain just goes, nah, and keeps going towards the goal. Because you're programmed into your mind what is important for you to complete. That is incredible about the human brain, that it gets to decide that. Dogs don't get to do that. Dogs are just completely at the mercy, and children, as we've mentioned before. But dogs are completely at the mercy of whatever their owner prioritizes. You can see them in sync with their owner's emotions, and sitting there going, oh no, you said, I'm going to be so stupid dog. But you don't. You get to determine what are your goals. And if you don't get to determine what those goals are, whatever is trending in society at the time is what you move along with. You know what also happens? This is what's really crazy. After a while of doing this, you start noticing that your friends and the social circle you hang around with starts having these same, pretty much the same thoughts. They all start morphing into the same thought pattern. What you notice is that you can sit there and observe it and just go, you are not affected by it, but they are. They are just all pinging off one another, none of them having any idea of what...
It's a good point. All right. I like everything that he said just now. That was actually really good. If you set a goal, then you just focus on your goal, right? It's almost like nothing else matters. Like you pick whatever it is that you want to do, and a goal, right? Like when we hear the word goal, we think that it's like this like big thing that's going to take years or months or whatever to actually do. A goal could be for the night, or it could be for the meal, or for the like meeting that you have with some person, or for your like morning routine, or whatever you do on the weekend. Like those are all, everything in life, I guess, is a goal. So if you make a conscious decision that you say like, I want to reach this one state of being in this amount of time, or during this time period, I guess that's also considered a goal, right? Like my goal right now is to watch this video and stop it every few minutes and talk about what he's talking about, or whatever I feel like talking about. That's my goal while I'm recording it. That's actually what I want to do. So that's what I'm doing right now. And it doesn't matter what's going on outside, or what's going on like in this house that I'm staying at, or like what other things that I want to do, what other urges I have, or desires, or random thoughts pop into my head, because that is my goal to do this video right now. That's what I'm going to do. So just like that is my goal for probably the next 15, 20 minutes. We all have like multiple goals throughout the day that are short-term, long-term, whatever. And then what he said about like, there's another like cheesy quote, right? It's like, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most, right? That's not wrong. It's just like repeated so much, it's kind of cringe, right? He didn't say that, I don't think. But everybody's heard that, right? And it's technically true. If you hang out with losers, like you're probably a loser too. If you hang out with ballers, you're probably a baller. If you hang out with average people, you're probably average. If you hang out with any sort of group of people and you decide to change and you start taking steps to change, and then you hang out with like your old group of friends, you're going to feel very disconnected, because you don't have the same set of goals that you did when you've changed, right? They've stayed the same, you've changed, you've outgrown them, so to speak. And it sucks, but that's also kind of like, and you can do it the other way around, right? Like you can think to yourself, like this is one of the reasons why I keep talking about this, and I swear I'm going to do it. This is the year that I do it. I hope, we'll see. Why I want to go like intern/work for RSD, because I watch, I haven't watched any of the videos in a long time. I'm assuming it's pretty much the same, but like I'm very impressed with the caliber of people that are involved in that organization, and I'm like, wow, like I want to go just basically like do whatever I have to do to be around them, right? If that means interning or working or whatever it is, I want what they're smoking, you know what I mean? So that's how you, I guess, work backwards from it. Yeah, anyway.
What's going on? Usually what happens is then there's this huge media conglomerate just going, what's cool at the moment? Sunglasses with those shitty shades over the top. Why? Because the shit and the G6 Far East movement. If you want to laugh, go and watch G6 now and still think like, yeah, that's cool. Being a small Asian DJ with those crass eyes, I'm sure he gets pussy today. But it changes all the time. It changes all the time. And it's just people basically saying, buy this, now buy that. That's what happens to your brain if you don't fix goals. You can sit there and go, but I'm autonomous. You can see it even with all these videos I'm trying to do on my other YouTube channel, Friendly Joys, where I'm talking about media bias. And everybody can't see it and thinks that they get how media bias works despite the fact that they've read nothing about it. And then they prove that media bias works by repeating exactly what the media has said about, say, the election in 2009. I'm not salty! But that's what happens. That is what happens. You start taking on, subconsciously, the goals of people who actually have them because their reality is more certain than yours. If you do not have goals, you are this leaf in the wind. But if you do have goals, you become a laser beam. How much better is a laser beam than a leaf? Yes, that's accurate. Metaphors are always correct. But I want you to think about that from that context, which is that you are wasting your life if you do not have goals. Fact, period. And if you do have goals, you are unstoppable. It doesn't mean you're going to reach your goals, even if you put timelines, which I strongly recommend that you do. Even if you don't fulfill the timeline and get your goal in the allotted time period, you are closer towards it. Your brain is moving there. That is what makes a actualized, strong human being. If you don't have those things, if you do not have that, you are not going to be contributing to society at anywhere near the capacity that you are capable of contributing to it. Because if you don't, you just start fulfilling the destiny of other people. And the thing is, the people that are usually in the position of power can get there by their own merits. They usually got there because they were born into this. And so they don't actually have very good goals for the rest of society. They're just basically like, make me more rich. That's their goal. But you see this all the time. You see people that started off with nothing, building something from where they started, which is, say, the working class or even lower than that, crackheads, building up something. Usually what they build up is a little more socially conscious and it brings society along with them. That's what's exciting about goals. Because goals are especially important if you do not have anything in your life as it stands. Because this, you can get whatever you want. It doesn't mean that it happens overnight. It just means that you are training your brain to move towards it. Exciting. Otherwise, it just moves wherever it is directed to. It's still completing goals. This is what you don't understand. When you say you don't have goals, you might not have goals. Other people have goals for you. So, this is my goal. I want you to start writing your own goals. Be the captain of your own shit. Yeah, goals. Jeez, this is a scary channel, isn't it? It's always just this combination of things that hot MILFs think is awesome and some guy that's pretty much 6 years old telling you about it. But, it doesn't matter. This is about it.
See, like, I don't know, whatever. Who am I to criticize, right? But like, I don't know, like fewer voice, and it's at 2x speed, so it probably sounds like a little bit more weird. I wonder what it would be like at like 1x speed. Whatever, who cares? I don't know, like fewer like cartoon voices and more like, because you can tell he kind of like sometimes he'll get like really serious and be like, if you don't write goals, then you're fulfilling the dreams of somebody who does, and you get kind of like caught up in like his enthusiasm, and then he like does some like weird like Porky Pig voice, and you're like, I don't know, whatever, do your thing, who cares? Maybe that's like his shtick. Yeah, okay, so I guess, like, okay, so what did he say? He's like, if you don't have goals, then you're going to be fulfilling the dreams of somebody who does. All right, so like, okay, first of all, the whole thing that he said about like most people who are rich, they were born into being rich and they didn't get there on their own. I'm not about to fact check that. It seems a little, if we're talking about like business owners, I don't think generational wealth like lasts that long. And I think more people like work into being rich in America than are born into being rich and like continue the state of the wealth of their household. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. That's number one. Number two, there's always going to be somebody who's higher up the food chain than you are, arguably. Even if it's, let's say that you're the boss of your own company. The person who's higher up on the food chain than you are is like your client. You know what I mean? So like you can have a goal for the client. Like you can have a goal or a potential client. You're like, I want this client to sign up right now. I want them to pay me $10,000 and I want to only do this, and this for them. That's your goal, right? But maybe they have a different goal, and because they're the ones who have more leverage over you because they are paying, I'm just making up a random situation and stretching the definition of what a goal actually is, right? But the point is that like you can't think that if you have goals, like you're not going to fulfill the goals of other people also, right? Like you should also help other people achieve their goals. It's kind of, and I'm sure he agrees with this also, but like you don't want to be under the impression that if you are helping other people fulfill their goals, that you're somehow losing, right? I think what he means is that if you do not set goals like in the business world or in your professional life, then you're probably just going to like get a job somewhere and like get paid for your time and not make as much money or like reach your full potential as if you were the one running the show and calling the shots. I think that's what he means. I think that's what he's getting at. But one way to like advance very quickly, if not the fastest way, is to help other people achieve their goals. Like if you make yourself indispensable to somebody else, they'll give you whatever you want. You know what I mean? They'll do anything to keep you around. So something to consider, I think. Also, like, I'm not saying don't start a business and you can't get a job, and anybody who gets a job is a loser. I think there is like a big kind of like in the self-improvement world, like jobs are bad. Like don't get a job. If you get a job, you're a loser. Like start your own thing. But I think there's a lot of benefit in working for a company or partnering with someone or apprenticing or doing like just helping, even just like on a personal level, being friends with somebody. Um, there's value in that because you never know like who's going to scratch your back later or who can or who will put in a good word for you or like who it's good to know. Or maybe if this person isn't even good to know, but you go and you help them anyway, maybe other people see that and they realize that you're the type of guy that'll just help somebody for no reason, even if you don't get anything out of it. And then because of that, you actually do get something out of it. It's happened to me many times. That's why you should always be nice to waiters.
You're worse than I am. You're gonna have goals. I want you to get them. I want you to get goals. I want you to write them down. These 5.
Anyway, I just wanted to say one more thing, so just remembered it. He said that if you don't have goals, you're helping somebody who does have goals. But I think that even if you think you don't have goals, you do have goals. You're just not necessarily aware of them. And because you're not aware of them, it's completely random and most likely not going to be in your best interest that you actually achieve those goals. You can have a goal that is unconsciously set by yourself as a result of like influences in your environment, but you have that goal and you're working to accomplish it, even if you don't realize that that's actually what you probably realize that that's what you're working for, but maybe sometimes you don't, right? But you go to achieve that and it has negative consequences. You understand what I'm saying? Like, let's say your goal is like, for example, you go to work and your goal is to like get through the day without like being bored out of your mind, right? That's your goal, right? Maybe you're not even like aware of that, the fact that that actually is your goal. That's going to hinder you as opposed to if you set, let's say, like a more productive goal in the long term.
5 areas. First off, I want you to write them down in terms of what your physical goals are. Do you want to have a stronger body? Do you want to be one of those jacked guys that when he turns around, he's like, I got a 6-pack on my back. Is that hot, ladies? You want to be that? That's fine. Go do that. Physical goal. I also want you to have goals in terms of intellectual goals. How do you want to develop your mind? What subjects do you want to become a master in? Remember this. If you are studying a subject extensively for an hour a day, in 3 years, you will be an authority. In 5 years, you will be a national authority. In 7 years, you will be a global authority. Because not many people put 7 years of effort into anything. Most people don't even put 2 weeks of effort into anything. Most people just go to university and go, this is hard. It's like high school, except no one's telling me to shut up. So they don't. Now, I want you to have intellectual goals. I want you to have physical goals. I also want you to have financial goals. Where do you want to go financially? How financially secure do you want to be? Do you have a mansion on the moon? I told you, you can get whatever you want with goals. In terms of finance, some of that, it's sort of connected, but career goals. What do you want to do? What do you want to do with your life? How do you want to spend most of your time? Because essentially what you want to do, I'm just giving you this goal to begin with. First off, you want to make sure that your vocation is your vacation. You want to make it so that when you're going on a vacation, it actually feels like you're going to work. That's my life, baby. Day of the life. I hate going on vacation these days. I really like working. I want you to have that same experience in life. That is a key to success. It is just almost officially again. That has become my version of saying like every 3 sentences, which I fall into every now and then as well. You're watching me asking for counseling for strangers, the YouTube channel. I want you to think about that from a career perspective as well. And then the 5th one I want is contribution goals, because you will not feel fulfilled unless you feel like you are adding to society as opposed to taking away from. That is what makes you sleep well at night. I can guarantee you that. Anything else subtracts, because this is something that you also learn. Happiness is overrated. Sure, happiness is great. Love happiness. Fantastic. But what happens when you nut? What happens on those cold nights when you don't have somebody snuggle up next to you? You can sit there snuggling up, just like Nelson Mandela was in that cell, basically what I am in today. You know what? I'm exactly the same as Nelson Mandela.
All right, what do you say? Like financial, career, intellectual, physical, achievement or possessions or something. I don't know. I don't think he said relationships. He didn't say relationships, did he? I think the areas that you choose, like, okay, I think the important thing is consciously setting a goal, right? And the goal could be like doing something that you've been putting off to do for a long time, right? This is why I think making a list of things that you need to do that day, like a to-do list, like as simple as that is, it takes 5 minutes, write down all the shit that you need to do, and then just go check them off one by one and actually do them. Like, I'm getting back in the habit of doing that because for the past like 2 months, or like when I was working in Minnesota for a month and a half, like my goal was literally to like get up and go to work and sell as much as I could. That was my goal, right? That was like my overall goal. And I pretty much kind of sacrificed everything else so that I could maximize the like potential payoff for that goal, like do as much of that goal as I could. But the important thing is to just, to-do lists, right? So if you have maybe a little bit more time and are not like going like on a super intense grind for a short period of time, you probably have like a more varied set of goals that you want to accomplish, right? So like now, for example, I have some like last minute things that I need to do before I leave. So I'll wake up, I'll like make a to-do list, and it's like basic stuff. Like I write on there like shave, brush my teeth, like use the teeth whitening thing. Call this guy, call that guy. And then like just the act of writing them down makes it more likely that you'll actually do them, right? And if your goal is to like improve your life, then all you have to do is just do the shit that you need to do, or that you know you need to do but probably don't do it because it's not at the front of your mind all the time. And taking that extra step of actually just writing it down makes it more likely it'll actually happen. And what you'll find out is that, or what you'll see, or what I've seen, is that when I make a to-do list, I'll write down like the easy shit, like brush my teeth, whatever. And then I'll be like, well, shit, what else do I need to do? Like, I know there's some important stuff that I need to do, because unconsciously you're like looking at the to-do list and you're like, I don't want like this is my life. Like what do I need to do to actually like fix my life? And you start writing down the more important shit. Maybe you don't do it that day. Like I still procrastinate. I'm sure everybody does. But the more often you write it down, like you're getting closer and closer to actually doing it. I don't know, maybe some people out there, they do it the first time they write it down. I don't. But at least if you're writing it down, you're conscious of it. And being conscious of it is hopefully making you uncomfortable that it's not done. So that's what you got to do.
I had a harder life than his already. But he was always saying, this is the way that he looked at his 40 years in prison. Tony Robbins was asking him this actually, where he goes, how did you survive all those years? And he said, I didn't survive, I prepared. He sat in the cell and he read. He spent all his time strengthening his mind to prepare to become a leader for when he was eventually free. What a powerful mindset. Why? Because he was focused on contributing back to society. So even being in essentially solitary confinement or extremely poor prison conditions, in his mind he was free. Just like Charles Manson, the other Nelson Mandela of our times. Now, this is what I'm trying to impress upon you today, is that goals are important, and you can have goals. They don't have to be spectacular. They just have to be anything. What you want to be doing is training your mind to decide that it is the key determining factor in your life. It gets to call the shots. It gets to call where it's going to go. You need to start exercising that muscle. If you just keep sitting there going, oh, I don't have goals. Again, that is a goal. Think about it like that. Whoa! Mind melt, man. If you are saying, I don't have a goal, your brain starts to seek out reasons for why it doesn't have a goal. What a waste of human intelligence. What you should be focusing on instead is, what goals do I actually want? And you definitely would have some goals in these 5 areas. No one is fulfilled in these 5 areas, and then you have other ones like relationships and children and all that kind of crap. Let's focus on you, the big goal. In these 5 areas, there's definitely things that you want to improve, but you are not improving upon them. Start writing goals. These will propel you forward. Anyone who has goals is going to be better off at the end of their life than someone who doesn't. It is proven. Start doing it. It doesn't, again, anything in these 5 areas, finance, body, career, contribution, intellectual pursuits, any of those 5, write down the goal and start writing it daily to impress upon your mind that all these other outside distractions of, this is a YouTube video, but all that crap of people constantly coming into your life and go, oh, you want to go to this shitty party where nothing happens, you sit on your crate butt, you roll donuts, how awesome is that? Instead of that, you go, no, I'm going to sit at home and read Moby Dick. But eventually what happens is that builds on itself, and 10 years down the line, you will thank me for it. I can guarantee you will thank me for it, because you will see those people that are still aimless in life, still walking around like a lost soul. You will not. You will be a lazy pig. Don't be a leaf, be a lazy pig. See you next week. Don't forget to like, don't forget to...
Yeah, he's right. And, you heard what he said, where he's like, if you don't have goals, that's a goal, right? So like, keep that in mind also. And just pick something better. Like one of the things that I liked about Grant Cardone, huge fan of Grant Cardone, is that he basically said that what he would do is write down his goals every day, twice a day. Just like write them down and then forget about them. Like just the act of actually writing them down, he said, was helpful and beneficial and the secret to his success and blah, blah, blah. And it just like kept him focused. And they would change, right? It's not that you have to like write them down and write the exact same things every single time, but just the act of like writing down, I guess, things that you want to accomplish or things that you want to achieve or things that you want in your life helps you stay focused on them, because there's so much like going on. Like if I'm in the middle of working and I get up to like go get a drink of water, and even if I'm like super engrossed in like what I'm doing, I go up to like whatever, like walk into the kitchen or make some food or anything. I take a break and like I come back, and it takes some time to like get back into that same state of mind. And it happens, it doesn't matter how focused you are, how motivated you are, anything will take you out of your like concentrated mode of thinking. So the more that you, I guess, stay focused on that, the better. It's just that, are you going to remember to do that? It's not hard to do this stuff. You know what I mean? It's just that most people don't do it because there's so many things competing for our attention. Like you have one of these, right? You have your little like smartphone. This is, you know what this is? This is a machine with like thousands of available distractions that are more like pleasing for us to observe than a notebook and a pen and actually like writing down things we want to accomplish, surprisingly. I guess, right? I guess you could say that writing down your goals is more enjoyable, but is it really? Like, but at the end of the day, like, I guess you could make the argument that if you just browse Instagram all day, like you'll be happy anyway, because it's so pleasing, like from a dopamine standpoint. But I don't know. I think ultimately having achieved a high level of success in those 5 areas, let's say, would be more beneficial. Anyway, I think I sold this guy short a little bit in the beginning. It is actually pretty good advice. It's good advice. Like, you know what else I realized is that like most advice in the self-help world is just recycled from other self-help people. And when I realized this for the first time, I was like, because I also wanted to like do, I don't know, kind of like what he was doing. I guess I kind of do that a little bit, but in just in a more casual way. But one of the things that stopped me from getting into it is I realized I was like, these are all just like I'm basically just telling, like, relating these concepts to people that I heard from Tony Robbins, or that I like watched in some RSD video, or that I like read in Think and Grow Rich, you know. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, if any of those people have consumed some of that media, it's just like they're not going to get anything out of it. And then what I realized is that most of the population doesn't actually consume any sort of content like that, personal development. I guess it's a popular niche, but I'm always surprised when I'll like relate some concept, even about fitness. Like, oh my God, don't you guys know everything about fitness already at this point? Like, what else do you need to know? But I'll mention something, people are like, oh my God, that's so useful and insightful. Like, thank you so much. I never thought of that. I've never heard that before. And it's like, you've never heard about, you know, the benefits of chicken. Like, what do you never heard that creatine is good for you? Like, where you been? You know what I mean? But everybody is at a different point in their knowledge journey. And, you know, there's, I guess, some benefit to sharing the knowledge that you've gained along the way. Okay, so that was interesting. Who told me to do this? Who are you? Phileas Canis. It's pretty good. So like for me, like other than the to-do list, like right now, okay, I'll make a video about this, but like I was going to go to Canada. That has been canceled. I was going to go there for work basically, but that had fucking fork stuck in it. So now I'm trying to decide between other places to go work, right? So like I have a goal to decide on the best place for me. So what did I do is I wrote down, or I'm in the process of writing down, all of the attributes of all of these places, the pros and cons, let's say, and I want to write them all down on like 2 pieces of paper so I can look at them all at the same time and just kind of compare them while having them in front of me. That's a goal that I have because I want to make the best decision, and I want to make the most informed decision, and not like I want to make a less emotional decision. So that's a goal, or that's, I guess, a decision-making strategy. That's not really a goal, although I guess you could say a goal is a way of making a decision that is ultimately beneficial to you. You could say that. Anyway, bottom line, people, just like write it down. Like write down what you actually want, or just start writing. That's another thing. Like journaling is very good because we have a lot of information in our heads that is not necessarily clear to us. Like we feel something about a lot of different things. We feel a certain way, and you might not necessarily have like complete clarity on those feelings until you actually like sit down and write it all out. Like, today this happened, I felt like this about it, I really want to do this, I really want to do that. And as these like words are coming out of you, you're like, oh yeah, I actually really do want to do that. That is really important to me. And that'll kind of kickstart this whole, ideally, like process of you realizing that like this one area is very important to you right now and you want to work on that exclusively, or like you want to put more time into that, whatever it is. Bottom line, write it down. Just saved you 30 minutes. If you guys have any other recommendations for videos or YouTubers, let me know. Also, go follow me on le Instagram. I need to post more pictures. I might go to Hawaii. We'll see. And then I'll post pictures. Your time to shine 111. Peace.